Tesla is being accused of misleading all of us in the way they're presenting the Tesla Model 3 safety claims that's pretty much solely based on the data that comes from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And guess who's accusing them of that? The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. That's right, they're saying that Tesla is using their data, even though that data may not actually be complete or accurate. I know. So I'll tell you all about it. This has been going on for a while now. Only now the documents are being uncovered, but this has been going on since like last year. Back and forth between Tesla and them. I'll tell you what Tesla replied, and maybe, just maybe, I will be issuing my own safety rating for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and see if they will get all the way to 5 stars. They will not.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric!
Welcome to E4 Electric, your #1 source of unbiased electric car news, where our safety rating is usually 5 stars, unless you're literally watching us from that car over there. As you can see, we're going to be talking about the crash testing results of the Model 3. I will be showing you some brutal videos of Model 3 being hit all the way up and down. And so if you're sensitive to that kind of, videos where Model 3s and Teslas are being crushed, I would just turn away and take your kids away from the room. So I'm giving you a warning up front. By the way, you see that red button there says subscribe? Don't forget to hit that as well. That way you won't miss anything moving forward. All right, so this has been a while since these tests were conducted, and Tesla received 5-star ratings all throughout the testing grading. And as you can see, this comes from National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They do this testing all the time. You can see it on their website, and they've given them 5 stars. And really, there's, as you can see, no investigation, no complaints. Now, by the way, look at that. Look at the image of the car, right? Image not available, really? How can you not have it? You know where you could get a photo op is you can take a picture of the car before you crash it. How about that? But if anything, your offices are like 12 minutes away from the Tesla showroom, which of course you probably can find a couple of Tesla Model 3s that you can take a picture of. So I don't know, maybe do that. But this has been up for a while since anyway, I digress. Apparently safety ratings is not the only thing that they don't do very well. All right, so now here's where the problem begins. After that, Tesla claimed in their blog that essentially, I'm just going to read it to you. It says, I've just switched it. It says that NHTSA's tests also show that it has the lowest probability of injury of all cars the safety agency have ever tested, which is true. And I'm providing this chart over here. As you can see, the Model 3, Model S, and Model X, out of the all top 50 vehicles tested since 2011, actually, they all have the lowest percentage of injury, right? Okay, so, but this is where a problem starts. NHTSA sent a letter to Elon Musk saying that they should stop doing that, should stop using their data altogether. So let me read some of that in that letter, and we'll discuss what problem they're having with Tesla and whether or not it's at all, what do you call it, reasonable. But before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out the all-electric SUV called M-Byte coming to the US and Europe at the end of the next year. Look how fast and easy it is to reserve one, mainly because there's no payment section. That's right, it's actually free to reserve this car. Myself and over 50,000 other people did it. Takes about, 30 seconds of your time. There's a link in the description of this video, so go ahead and reserve your Byton today. All right, so here's the letter that was sent to Elon Musk for some reason. Usually when the communication is exchanged, they would send it to their lead attorney, lead counsel, but no, this one goes to Elon Musk. Now, I don't blame them, because obviously Musk runs everything. So might as well send it to the top guy, but that was a little weird. So as you can see in that letter, they're basically saying that the statements that Tesla is making about this are misleading, and this is really not the first time they're doing that, and they're actually going to go and tell their mommy, which is the Federal Trade Commission's Bureau of Consumer Protection. So now, I'm also assuming because there is nothing they can do about this, and so all of this is kind of maybe a moot point, but the Consumer Protection will investigate and we'll see what they say. But for now, they're saying that Tesla is misleading. They're saying, well, you can't just use this data. And here's why. They're essentially saying that, well, we're crushing those cars against the walls, against these carts or whatever. Let's see, where's the video? And that's not really a good way to test cars, because if the two cars are crashing into each other, then it depends on how big of a difference in weight it is, and that might just determine the injuries based on that. And here's the statement that they've actually made in one of the letters. They say a number of NHTSA studies have evaluated the impact of vehicle mass on fatality rates, and these potential safety differences are not reflected in the vehicle's front crash test results. Oh, I see. So you guys know that the weight differential actually makes a difference on those numbers. You investigated and researched that and decided in no way to mention or embed that into your results that you're presenting to the public. Well, that could be... what's the word? Oh, misleading. That's right. I mean, if you are not including the information what is your rating good for, really? I mean, how is it any different than any Yelp review rating of, me walking to a Japanese restaurant and complaining there are no forks there? 1 star, how dare they? You sound like a very official government agency with a very official long government name that I can't even sometimes pronounce when it's abbreviated, to be honest with you. NHTSA, I give up, right? So, but you have to behave as one. We trust you to do this test and also give us the information. I understand we a lot of times just want to have 5-star or 4 stars. We are Yelp generation, I guess, but at the same time, you have to put actual work behind it, and if you know that this ratings may be a little bit off, well, at least try to incorporate all of this, because you do know all the numbers and weight, you do have the research information. So why don't you, and the last thing you should really do is accuse of Tesla or anybody else using your crappy numbers making claims, because listen, Tesla is a for-profit corporation. I don't know if you've heard. You're not, that's why you're not allowed to do this, but they're trying to do their best to promote their cars, which actually, based on your crappy data, they are correct. Now, here's Tesla response, by the way. And good for them for saying this. Tesla's blog statement are entirely based on actual results and in NHTSA's own calculations for determining relative risk of injury and probability of injuries. They're literally saying what I'm trying to tell you, right? It's freaking your data, and we're just using it. And now they're saying that, listen, we just provide these ratings that just like 1 to 5 stars, and this is really the conclusion. You shouldn't really be digging in our stuff like that and then making their own conclusions. But Tesla was very clear in that blog, and by the way, that blog is still up. That they're basing this data on the NHTSA's data, and you can go and read it and make your own conclusions. So I don't really see any big problems with, except for one thing that NHTSA might actually be correct about, and that's their guidelines. They're saying that Tesla is violating their guidelines, and here's the clause that I found. I went through all of them. And they're basically saying that the language, like saying stuff, best in class or safest or perfect or whatever, they are not really allowed. They would rather have them use kind of a more general statements and kind of rely on a 5-star system rather than kind of making their own conclusions. Now, as you remember in that original letter that NHTSA sent to Tesla, they said that this is not the first time they're breaking these rules. But the thing is I can only think of one, tell me if I'm wrong, but I can only think one of other times when, remember Tesla when they claimed that they actually should have gotten 5.4 stars out of 5 stars based on how the data is calculated? Well, the thing is, that claim was actually made before these guidelines were implemented. These guidelines were implemented later in 2013, probably so they can shut Tesla's, claims down. And Tesla said that they kind of stopped promoting that, though that blog is still up even right now. That's how I was able to actually see it. It's still right here. I literally just Googled it a few minutes ago. But at the same time, these guidelines that they have, they're an independent government agency, right? So they provide data to us, and I don't think anybody is obligated, including Tesla or any other manufacturers, to follow their guidelines. Listen, we have nothing to do with you, and I think unless you really misleading consumers, literally massaging the data, which I don't think Tesla did, then there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, sure, let's hear from the government consumer protection agency and see what they say. But I guess this is not even a binding contract. That's not something that Tesla or anybody signed with them. This is just their little hissy fit that they just put into the guidelines so they can kind of cover up their own mess, cover up their own competency, which actually, it's, sometimes this data may not actually be correct data where they would give a higher rating maybe that the car deserves. They're definitely giving me a higher blood pressure that I deserve. So 2 wrongs, okay? 2. So I gotta tell you, I have not looked into it as much as I have when I was researching the story, and this is really upsetting. This is upsetting because obviously they're admitting, and they never probably thought that this data was actually, or this communication was actually going to be public, but they're kind of admitting that they're not doing their job. And so, yeah, I think Tesla is right here. They might be violating their guidelines, but they never agreed to them, from what I understand. So kudos to Tesla, for fighting with this, not taking this down and standing their ground in making the statement. Now, I still think everybody here is wrong, and that statement is probably, if not wrong, but we don't really know because there's not enough information and data that this agency actually brought to us. But it is what it is. So I'm behind it. Let me know what you guys think, and let me also remind you about our Feed a YouTuber program that you can participate for only $5 a month. You can feed this little guy over here. He'll be provided with water and shelter and press passes to maybe Frankfurt Auto Show that I might be going to. I'm saying too much. All right, but thank you to one of my new Patreons, William Turner. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon. By the way, that's where you can watch all of these videos live. That's one of the perks, of course, direct access to me and asking me questions and making comments during the live telecast, which actually I can see right now. All right, well, thank you so much to William. And lastly, don't forget to get on our free VIP list where we send out bonus stories at the end of each week. The stories that we just could not cover here on the channel or on our website at E4Electric, and we're still gonna send it to you for free and right into your inbox. So go to e4electric.com/VIP to sign up. All right, let me know what you think. Do you think Tesla's right? Do you think the federal agency is right? Or do you think neither? Let me know in the comment section. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.